Hi, this is Steve from Mad About Golf. I'm at Golf HQ in Takapuna, and we're going to do a re-gripping of two of my Vokey wedges today. On my irons, I have the MCC Plus 4 grips with 4 layers of tape. So I've got a 54 and a 60-degree Vokey wedge, and James from Golf HQ is going to show me how they actually do it, because I've often wondered what's the process to put a new grip. So really for me, just to have the same standard grips across all of my irons. So yeah, let's get into it. So this is the workshop here at Golf HQ in Takapuna. So what's the first step in the process, James?
First step will be, say, sometimes we can save grips, sometimes we have to knife them.
Okay.
Today we've opted to knife them off, so we'll just knife them off and remove them.
So when you say knife them, meaning they can't be reused?
Can't be reused,
right,
yeah.
Yep.
So we've got our tool here.
Yep.
Like a little hook knife.
Hook knife, yep.
Gets under the grip.
Yep.
So we just start like that.
Okay.
All the way to the end. Makes it a lot easier to get these off.
Right.
You just do basically both of them at once.
Okay. It's actually criminal, eh? They're about a month old.
Yeah.
But
yes.
nah, I just think it's better to have the same grip size across all your irons, personally.
Yeah, it's quite important having the same feel throughout the bag.
And that, what is that
so
underneath there?
This is a double-sided tape.
Okay.
Since this is already used, we want to put, say, a fresh one on.
Yeah.
We'll heat this up and take this off.
Oh, okay.
Just makes it a lot easier for removing.
Right.
So we've got our heat gun here.
Yep.
So we heat them up.
So the double-sided tape is really just to keep the grip in place?
Keep the grip in place, yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise they'll slide off and
right.
Make no good contact-wise.
No. And the grip sizes you get, there's like obviously standard, and then there's mid-size, and then there's jumbo, and that's all about, you know, different size hands, right?
Yeah, so it's about finding which one fits your hand the right amount. You don't want too much overlap of your fingers, so like overlapping into the
it should just
grip.
rest
You just
on the
want
palm.
it kind of nice and
Yep.
and soft and rested.
Yeah.
So since we heated it up, helps reduce the stickiness as much as possible.
And I guess the older the grip is, the harder the tape maybe is to get off?
Yeah, sometimes it depends. Sometimes, say with the older ones, they didn't use as much tape.
Yeah.
So it can be quite a lot easier. Sometimes, say with the older ones, we actually have to take a knife if it's a steel shaft. We can take a knife to it and remove it all with the knife.
Right.
Just because it gets too sticky sometimes.
Right. And it's important to sort of get it all off, because otherwise you'll have
different layers throughout the grip. So like if you've got, say, an older tape and you put a new one straight over it, there might be like uneven surface, which will make the grip feel quite uncomfortable on the player's hand.
Yeah, I've seen videos online of like talking about players like Rory McIlroy being able to detect if there's not enough layers, like, you know, like to what they normally have.
Yeah, it's like you can get different thickness ones. Like we've got 2 different thicknesses.
Right.
So we've got a build-up tape and then our sticking tape.
Oh, of course.
So we've got, say, our build-up one.
Right.
Slightly thicker, and then basically our last layer tape, which makes the grip stick to the club.
Okay, so when I obviously got fitted for my Titleist irons, and they recommended 4 layers of tape, would it be 3 of the thickening tape and then 1 of the sticky, or?
I'd say they'll probably just have the 1 tape there just to make it easier for them in the production line.
Right.
But for us, we've opted to get something slightly thicker just to make the build-up a little bit more noticeable for the players.
Right. And re-gripping something you guys do a lot of?
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much every day we have a few.
Because what do they recommend? Is it like once a season for your average amateur, or depends how much you play?
Depends on how much. If you're playing every weekend.
Yeah.
So what's that, like 50 odd rounds a year?
Yeah.
I'd say you might see a year or 2 depending on the grip.
Okay.
So we just fold it over each other.
Okay.
And you tuck that in.
Okay.
And let's do the same. So we're doing 4 layers underneath.
Yep. So from a standard to a mid-size, how many layers would you have to put on to make it a mid-size?
Depends on the style of grip, but roughly would see anywhere between 4 to 8 layers of tape.
That many?
Mostly around that 8 size.
Okay. Because I wondered that when he said, oh, I think you would do standard with 4 layers of tape. I thought, well, why don't you just go mid-size? But obviously that's thicker, right?
Yeah, it might be like, so on that grip it could be 8 layers of tape.
Yeah. And there's so many different types of grips as well, eh?
Yeah.
Different models and stuff.
So that's 3, and then we're going to put the
actual one,
final one on.
Right, yeah. I've often thought about, I should learn this stuff. I can do it myself at home, but to be honest, I can't be asked. I think it's much easier to drop it off to somewhere like Golf HQ to do, right?
Yeah. So here what we're doing, filling up the grip with some solvent.
Solvent, all right.
Which makes it easier to slide the grip on.
Okay.
Give it a little shake. Some people do it that way, some people do it that way when they're dripping it on.
Yep. And you're just running
it along. Roll it along. You're just trying to get the double-sided tape as wet as possible.
Yep.
And then try and get it in one go.
Yep. Wow.
And then you just double check the alignment.
Yep. It's still quite easy to adjust at this stage.
Yeah. So you got about a few minutes until you can't adjust it.
Yeah.
With putter grips, it's a little bit less time.
Right.
Like that looks good.
Right.
And then what we do afterwards, just make sure it's sealed all the way to the end.
Okay.
Give it a few whacks on the ground.
Right.
Just make sure that the grip's all the way in.
Yeah.
And not got any space between the shaft and the grip.
Okay.
Wipe it down, and then that's
that one done.
Leave it dry for about half an hour and it's good to go.
Wow. Awesome. Do the second one. So how long would it take to do like a full set of irons?
Full set. Mostly the tricky part's just getting them off.
Yeah.
So if it's 14 clubs, it might be like an hour.
And what's the, like if someone says, oh, I want to keep the grips, obviously you're not going to knife them, so how do you get it off?
For the grips, so we can put the needle through the grip.
Yeah. Oh, and it slides off.
Make sure it's sliding against the shaft so it's not squirting the solvent into the grip. But yeah, so you're trying to create a liquid barrier between the grip and the double-sided tape.
Right.
To make it easier to slide off. Sometimes grips are just unable to save due to them sticking a bit too tight to the double-sided tape.
Yep.
We commonly see, say, like cord grips a little bit harder to save, as well as putter grips can be very hard to save.
Yeah. I have seen a video where they use some kind of pressure gun, like air pressure gun, to pop the grip off.
Yeah, it's just different workshops will have a different method of putting it on. Like the air, pretty much you're just blowing up the grip a little bit to give it enough space between the tape to slide on. But we've found, say, the solvent just a little bit more reliable.
Yeah.
And same process. Make sure you squirt it up quite a bit. Give it a good shake. And she slides on. Then double check the alignment.
Yep.
Good.
Good to go.
Then
go tap.
And just a quick little wipe down, make sure the solvents off the grip and off the shaft.
And you said before, probably like let it dry for half an hour?
About half an hour to 45,
Yeah.
Depending on how much solvent's in there.
Yep.
But those should be good to go.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
Sweet as.
Appreciate it. So there we go. That's both my 54 and 60 degree Vokey SM10 wedges now have the MCC Plus 4 grips on them, so they're matching all my other irons. It was a lot quicker than I thought, actually, so thanks very much to James from Golf HQ for doing that so quickly. If you need a regrip of clubs, please come down here to their Takapuna branch, or they've also got a store in Whangaparaa. Just go to www.golfhq.co.nz, and if you want to buy anything online here, if you use the code MADAboutGolf, you'll get $15 off your first online order. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.